Hi there. I wanted to give a quick demo on how to contribute to the Genesis framework for those of you who have got access to the GitHub repo. If we have a look on the screen here, there is a very small issue that I created a few days ago. It's very simple. It's just a typo in one of the documentation blocks. And this is a quick example of how we're going to go and fix it. So I use SourceTree, which is a visual interface. You can use Git on the command line. I can, but I prefer SourceTree. I just think it gives an easier view of everything that's happening. So there's a couple of things we need to understand first. There are probably two repos that repositories that you need to kind of be concerned about. The first one is the actual copyblogger Genesis one. So it's github.com/copyblogger/Genesis. This is kind of the official Genesis repo. You can see there's a little padlock on there. That's all blocked, is all private. And if you haven't already, what you need to do is go to the main page of it and then click on the clone or download. The fork button, that's what we need, is the fork here. And then when you click that, if you've got multiple accounts, it will ask you which one you want to do. You click on the one that you need to do, and that will then fork it. And it will, in this case, will produce it under your own GitHub username, which mine is Gary Jones. And you can see here it says forked from the copyblogger one. So in the source tree, if we go into the settings for this is obviously my local repository is already set up. I have got two remotes. The upstream is the copyblogger one. So it's just literally set to that. And the origin is kind of my one. That's what I'm working with. So for the time being, we can kind of ignore that the copyblogger one exists. I've already forked it. I've already, in this case, cloned it down, which I'm not going to show on this video, but this is what you'll need to do. And because we've got the two repos referenced, you can see in here that we're looking at the develop branch. Now the develop is what Genesis uses as its kind of day-to-day branch. Everything that you do as pull requests are going toward the develop branch. And on SourceTree here, it shows that I've got a local version of the code, which is develop. There's the upstream develop, which is the one on the GitHub, which we're on the same commit here, so it shows the synchronized, and the origin, which is my version. So again, we're all synchronized here. And so we want to do a fix. So the first thing we do is create a branch. Now you can name your branch pretty much whatever you want. In this case, I'm going to call it bug fix / typo. This is just for your repo, so you can call it kind of whatever you want. I tend to, or certainly recently, been using kind of bug fix and improvement and experiment as kind of the prefixes for my branches. You can use what you want. So we create a branch, and you can see in here we've now got a bug fix typo branch, and that's what we're on. And in this case, this is the one that's highlighted rather than develop, so that's the one that we're checked out on. If we have a look at the code now, you can see here I've already opened the file, so I'm literally just going to fix that one and save. Now if we go back to SourceTree now, when it refreshes, there, like so, you can now see that we've got some uncommitted changes. So if I click on here and kind of scroll down to the bottom here, you can see that it highlights kind of the diff, what has changed between the original code and the code that I now want to commit. And in this case, it's just a single character typo. So I can say, yep, that's good, looks good to me. I'm going to commit that. Now, there's various different kind of suggestions for how to do good commit messages. Perhaps you want a brief summary that is no longer than kind of the 50 characters, which in this case is where this line is at the bottom. And then you can give a long description as necessary, and then the kind of fixes or C, and then a ticket number. So in this case, if we go back to the GitHub repo, I can see that the ticket number is 1811. So that's what I'm going to use. So I can say, this is for docs area, because it was documentation that we're fixing. So fix typo in circuit. something simple as that. Don't need a full stop at the end for the description. And in this case, there's nothing else really to say about it. So fixes 1811. That one you can have a full stop. And I'm just going to commit that. And that's created a new entry for my branch of this bug fix typo. And that's currently still local. I haven't pushed anything anywhere yet. That's currently still on my computer. What we are going to do now is push to the origin remote, which in this case is my fork of Genesis on GitHub. So I'm going to push there, make sure that the one that I want to push is selected, and just OK that. And that's now done. That is now at here. And if we go into here, you can see that it's actually highlighted the fact that a recently pushed branch. Now, in terms of being able to do a pull request, if you go back to the original copy blogger Genesis, you'll see that GitHub automatically shows the fact that I've just pushed a branch to my fork of it, and it asks, do we want to compare to the copy blogger Genesis? In this case, yes, we do. So click on the button there. If you've done a single commit, then it will already fill in the kind of the subject of the pull request with kind of what you used to commit with, and then kind of the rest of the commit message will be in here. So in this case, it pretty much has filled it in for me. Let's have a look down here. Yep, it's just a single file. It was just doing that, and from that we can then hit create pull request. And from there, it then checks to make sure there's no merge conflicts. On other repositories, you might have it where it runs off to Travis and checks that it passes tests and it meets code standards. We haven't done any of that here. We're just fixing documentation. And yeah, that's it. That's the pull request done. The copy blogger team would now be able to see that pull request, and they'd have extra buttons down here to be able to merge that automatically. And that's pretty much it. If you've got any other questions, you know where to find me. I'm Gary J or Gary Jones in Slack and Twitter and so on. Ask your questions. Let's get all of you contributing at least something to Genesis. Thank you.